Hello and welcome to my daily video. Today I would like to show, or rather talk to you about some stages of my life which were making me to be more motivated and determined, and due to that I was changing my life for the better. As you have learned from my previous videos, in the past, I have been very shy. I have had a fear of talking to strangers, and I was very introvert person. Then one day I decide that I must change. And at the point of my wanting to take my own life, commit suicide, I have suddenly ended up in a college for adults and enrolled to a course to access me to university. That was 1999 and it was late August. So when I enrolled for law and politics, I was determined to find myself a job, and at the time I also knew that it will not be easy. So I had to sit down and talk to myself in order to make my subconscious accepting the fact that there is a job to be done and it needs to be done in the next 4 years, and I will need to work full-time night and study full-time at university. So the first year, the Access course, I spent the first 3 months just focusing on education, and then in January 2000 I have started a full-time employment at one of Manchester airport hotels as a night manager. It was a very difficult task, and it is not easy by any means to run a house, work full-time nights and educate oneself full-time as well. But I made this decision at the time. I was 40 years old, and I made that decision because I had no time to stretch my education over 5 years. So the course and then university, all whilst I was working full-time on nights. That was not easy. At the time, it was only a period of time when I was spending the time on my own, as my husband was traveling, working as a coach driver, and everything was really left to my own resources. So I was grateful that I was able to find a full-time job that I loved, and I was able to combine this with full-time education. Now, 4 years on, and I had to make another very difficult decision, and that decision involved myself and a student colleague of mine starting a business in order to help her to remain in the UK following her studies. So I have came up with an idea of setting up recruitment agency for Eastern European workers, full-time employment only, no agency work, full-time employment with full package of accommodation and English language, bank account, national insurance, full setup. My colleague became my business partner, and we were having big plans, big goals, but only one person truly involved in building that business, and that was myself. It took me a long time, but at the same time I was breaking lots of limiting beliefs that I had within me, lots of fears. One of my main fears was cold calling, introducing our business to potential clients. That was something I found very difficult to overcome, but eventually I did, and the result of it was several very big contracts for bus drivers to several companies, whilst my colleague was making a living doing hosting and stuff for promoting agencies. I was building the business for us. We were using my colleagues' parents as the go-between between us and the potential employees from Poland, for instance, and other countries. Very quickly, once we landed the first contract, we realized that we need to fulfill a niche, and that niche was cleaning. So we created a cleaning business servicing letting agents predominantly, then came private landlords, and then came offices and so on. And again, all of this was handled predominantly by myself, as my business partner found very difficult to do work which is difficult and hard. Very quickly, after starting a cleaning business, we realized that there is another niche, and that was property maintenance services. So another a branch of our business have been formed, and very quickly we were very busy doing painting and decorating, small repairs, then major repairs. We very quickly started having clients that are coming to us rather than we chasing potential clients. So very quickly, within 6 months, our business was turning over 5 figures every single month, then 6 figures a year, and then it went to 7 figures. And that was the breaking point when my colleague, instead of taking active part in the everyday running of the business, decided that that business should be her, and things started taking pear shape, and the biggest pear shape was in 2006 on my birthday when we split up. It was a bitter split up, totally unnecessary, totally unprofessional, and the only good thing out of that breakup was that all the staff, and we had 8 staff at that time, all the clients, we had about 30 of them or more, came with me and didn't carry on with her. So her business folded very quickly and we were taking things on. But during the breakup, she left me with 2 empty desks in my front room in the house, and took every piece of equipment, took vehicles, took PC equipment, everything that was there to take, she took, thinking that she's going to be able to be successful. The problem here was that it was me who was building the relationships with the staff and with the clients. The clients knew me as the first point of call within the business. So when she took up knocking at client's door with her partner in crime. The clients contacted myself very quickly and asked me what is going on, so I have explained to them. And the next 2 weeks were very crucial. I held meetings with every single client, explaining the situation, looking at the possibility of working. And then the next thing was obviously to defend myself, because I was given a letter from solicitors with false claims. In fact, I don't know if you know anything about Goebbels propaganda. It means that I do the bad things and blame someone else for everything that I do. And that was the case in our litigation, where I received a letter from solicitors for false demands. I replied, had legal advice, and because I was left with really no money at all, I needed to take steps to defend myself and take the case further. So once I start replying to their solicitors with my side of the story, very quickly their solicitors gave up and said, sorry, they can't win this case, therefore they are not going to carry on. So for about 3 to 4 months there was a quiet period of time. This time I used for creating particular of claims and taking this to the court and starting the court procedure and fight against one of the top Manchester-based barristers. The case went to High Court and eventually I have won the case. But by the time I won the case, there was nothing that I could recover from the other side, simply because they have used variety of steps to destroy everything, and basically the only asset that was left at the beginning of the case was our property, HMO property that we had to let. I have requested that this to be sold because that was our mutual asset. The court agreed to it, so that asset was sold. That has infuriated the other side's barrister and themselves. And on January 2008 we had a mediation which was requested by court, and during that mediation they have put in front of me a false statement by magistrate and conveyancer that was used for the purchase of the HMO property. The conveyancer made a false statement, and because that statement was given to me at the end of the day, working day, at 5:30, where I could not call any solicitor, I could not call any advisor, I basically defended myself to the death. The mediation stopped at 10 o'clock when they agreed that half of the process money from the sale of the house were to be distributed half and half. And because they said that they have no money, I have asked for the final statement to have included a donation from myself to a young child who was about 12 months old at the time, for the money to be released to him when he reaches age 18. It was a very bitter story, and I am really feeling that story even now, following 12 years. I feel it because there is so many people out there who are losing court cases unfairly, who are taken to court where they shouldn't have been taken. False statements. I used to think, and I believed, that United Kingdom is one of the most honest and reputable countries, particularly when it comes to legal representatives. But this case proved to me that even in United Kingdom, one of the most decent countries in the world, legal people can be bought. And this was the case with myself. But because I was determined and because I was consistent, the judges in the court were supporting to me, and it was clear they were giving me a chance. They were giving me the opportunity to defend myself, defend my case, because they knew that the other side is not consistent, is lying, using my words as their words. This was clear. Honesty is always the best way to go forward. They failed because they were not honest. What about you? Have you had situations in your life which you felt have gone against you? If you did, could you please put a comment below this video and I will reply to it. Thank you so much for watching. Just a little bit more about today. Great day, even though the weather wasn't nice, but lots of reflections, and one of those reflections I shared with you today. Thank you very much once more. If you like my videos, please subscribe below this video, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.